House Republicans holding their first hearing in the impeachment inquiry of President Biden. So you might expect that the witnesses Republicans called would come armed with some evidence. Not so much.
I do not believe that the current evidence would support articles of impeachment. That is something that an inquiry has to establish.
I'm not here today to even suggest that there was corruption, fraud, or any wrongdoing. In my opinion, more information needs to be gathered and assessed before I would make such an assessment.
Joining me now, Congressman Eric Swalwell. He is a Democrat from California who sits on the House Judiciary Committee. Hi, Congressman. Thanks for coming on. So you had these two key witnesses. They testified they don't know of any direct evidence implicating Joe Biden, yet at least. Oversight Chair, Congressman James Comer, for his part, says, hey, this wasn't about fireworks. What was it about, in your view?
Well, this hearing was not about the American people who are just hours away from a shutdown where our troops will not get paid, border agents will not get paid, FBI agents, air traffic controllers will not get paid. But instead, we got a show today where the American people saw the Titanic of congressional hearings, where the Republican-called witnesses said, there is nothing there. But the hearing was really for one person, just become the Insurrection LLP law firm, where they work every day on behalf of one client. But it was embarrassing. I had secondhand embarrassment for Comer and Jordan and the Ways and Means Chair because they had nothing. Their own witnesses said they had nothing. And again, the tragedy here, the cost here is that the American people who want their government to work for them saw a complete show that went nowhere and no progress on keeping the government open.
Republicans, for their part, say there is enough smoke to justify an inquiry. They are looking into whether President Biden took any action related to payments his son received or if the president obstructed any investigations into his son. They say getting to the bottom of those accusations is a worthy endeavor. So, in your view, why wouldn't it be?
Again, there's just zero evidence. And again, they can call every witness in the world. They've got thousands of documents, and their own witnesses say there's no evidence for impeachment. But they have never accepted Joe Biden as president. In fact, they rooted for an insurrection that tried to throw him out. They go and visit the insurrectionists who are jailed at the DC jail. And this impeachment is just a continuation of the insurrection while Democrats are working for working people. We want to keep government working so people get their Social Security benefits, their veterans benefits, that troops get paid. And so we're trying to show the contrast where they are chaotic, we are competent, they are for corruption, we are for the community, and that couldn't have been on bigger display than what you saw today in that hearing.
To be clear, this hearing was full of falsities, like this one from Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Let's listen.
You know, the president took bribes from Burisma. I also want to add, betraying your country is treason.
So again, that claim is false. But I'm curious, at a time when polls show Americans are divided about whether Joe Biden committed wrongdoing, and a lot of that is along party lines, are you concerned Americans will hear that and believe it?
It's a great point. I'm just concerned that Democrats are on defense too often. Look, we need to play on their side of the field. And playing on their side of the field is first, discrediting them from the beginning. Jim Jordan, who led this hearing, is 500 plus days into violating his own subpoena. So we don't need a lecture from Jim Jordan on lawlessness. We need to defend these allegations where they come in. By the way, yesterday, the Ways and Means Chair, Jason Smith, said, well, I'm not really clear on the timeline here. Well, guess what, pal? You better get clear on the timeline if you're going to try and impeach the president. And then we should pivot always to, if we were given the keys to government, what we would deliver. So discredit, defend, and then deliver. We would make sure in these hearings that we're focusing on keeping kids safe in our classrooms, that we would be working on securing the border from fentanyl, which means keeping the government open. And of course, every single day in America, a troop who serves this country should be paid.
When you say keeping the border open, you're saying keeping the Border Patrol and so forth on duty.
Yeah, they want to shut down the border.
But the shutdown,
they want to shut down the security at the border. Yeah.
But they'll continue to be working, though, their paycheck may be delayed. I do want to note, though, Chairman James Comer's statement tonight. He says, as the Bidens were sealing deals around the world, Joe Biden showed up met with, talked with, shook hands with, and had meetings with the foreign nationals sending money to his family. Biden, as you know, has said he never discussed business with his family. But do you think that he should have been more transparent to at least avoid the perception that something unseemly was going on?
Again, there's no evidence. First, there's no evidence that any deal that Hunter Biden had done broke the law, right? There's no indictment of Hunter Biden for any foreign deal that he did. And by the way, one of the leading presidential candidates on the Republican side was doing deals with the Chinese the same time that Hunter had done a deal with the Chinese. That in and of itself is not illegal. So they have not even connected that dot yet. And there's certainly no evidence that Joe Biden received any of the money that his son was working on. So we shouldn't accept that anything in this premise is even wrong until that they prove that it's wrong. But most importantly, again, this is because they do not accept that Joe Biden is the president. It's actually laughable that they would want to have impeachment of someone who they won't even acknowledge. If you ask them, is Joe Biden the president? They won't even say that he's the president because they tried to run an insurrection on the guy. They don't accept the outcome of the 2020 election, but yet they want to impeach him. The American people want us to work for them, and they did not see that today.
Congressman Eric Swalwell, thank you.